Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We are discussing the BMW M2 at Navarra Circuit today. It was a super fun race. You'll see a little bit of calamity there towards the end. I'll get into that shortly. Really fun race though. The M2 never disappoints. It's always a really great time, especially with getting a little bit loose. And just being a fast, fun car to drive. Certainly poses its own set of challenges, but let's dive straight in and get into this race and qualifying. So this is lap 2 of my qualifying, so I've got the tires somewhat warm, but as you'll see, I'm still getting a little bit of understeer, a little bit of oversteer. There's still a little bit of movement to the car. But the main thing I'm focusing on here in qualifying is just putting in a clean lap, not taking any unnecessary risks, trying not to miss any apexes or braking zones. I would much rather come into the turn a little bit too slow than a little bit too fast. So really focused on just putting in a good clean lap, give me a good place to start, and hopefully avoid some of the chaos. So here we are coming into the last little bit of qualifying. I've had a very clean lap. Everything's gone pretty smoothly. So just gonna roll through into the finish line here and start preparing myself for the race itself. I did qualify P7, which is, not by any means the best, but I am happy with it, and we've got a great position to start the race. So here we have the actual race start. We get off to a really good start. No immediate chaos like people missing the first gear or anything along those lines. But pay attention to this car here. It becomes very, very important throughout the rest of this race. As you saw there, he made just a really dirty move, kind of smacked that guy or punted him right off of the track there. So right off the bat, I kind of had that car in my memory that there's a good chance that he could become a problem later. Now, unfortunately, I was watching him in my mirror. Made a super rookie mistake, totally missed my braking zone, and absolutely blew that corner wide. So now, as you see, I am behind the very aggressive driver from the turn just previous. Now, I had a little bit of run on him coming out of that turn, but as you saw there, unfortunately got a little loose and kind of lost that run I had on him. But we are hanging in close. There is the Turner Motorsports car just to my left, so I'm having to kind of hit this entry a little shallow, but I was able to get on the brakes early enough without him running into me, and he fell back in line. So this is always a relatively sketchy section here. People tend to overshoot that turn and then overshoot this turn, and unfortunately that curbing there on the side, if you touch it just even barely, it tends to want to turn your car around, so you have to be very careful with that. As you can see there though, I was able to somewhat get back around that car, but he is still side by side with me even now. So again, had to hit this corner a little shallow, which unfortunately means the cars in front of us are just running away because this guy is trying to battle me so hard. It's really slowing us both down, which is something that a lot of drivers really just don't understand. But we're coming back into this section. It's a very fast section. As you can see, the guy in front of me ran wide, and then this guy just dive bombs me here, which You know, I wasn't surprised. Like I said, this guy's been driving very aggressively all race long. So it was no shock to see him dive bomb me there. But because of his dive bomb, he lost all his momentum. And I was able to just come right back around him, which you see all too often, you know, on the amateur driver side. Which, of course, I'm an amateur driver as well. But, you know, it's just something that is a big part of racecraft that so many drivers really struggle to learn. So there again, I missed another braking zone and went a little deep into the turn, which allowed, you know, Mr. Aggressive behind me to catch right back up. He is positioning himself to dive bomb again, but then fell back in line. I think he was trying to see if he could force me into a mistake, but fortunately there I held it together, but then he gives me a little bump on the corner there. I guess he was trying to spin me. You know, it seems like his MO, if he can't get around somebody, he's just going to spin them out. So there, I did hit that curbing and had to back out a little bit to just keep the car composed. But able to get through that section clean, even despite being bumped and run by the guy behind me. But as you can see in the mirror, I now have a pretty substantial lead on him, which is giving me some breathing room to hopefully get away. So we are back through the turn one section. This section's always pretty interesting. You see a lot of collisions and incident points issued through that section. It's just a relatively high-speed, off-camber set of turns, so it definitely poses a lot of challenges. As does this turn here, another off-camber, kind of long sweeping turn that, you know, it's really important to keep your momentum up, so you're not using a ton of braking, hardly any braking at all. But as you can see there, I did unfortunately apply just a little too much throttle, and the car got a little loose coming out of that turn, which means Mr. Aggressive is now right back on my bumper. So this next couple of interchanges with this guy get a little challenging. Again, he kind of pushed me deep in that turn. And as you can see there, tried to push me off the track entirely. Fortunately, I was able to hold it, but at this point, I know this guy's going to continue to be an issue, so I'm going to just somewhat keep my distance. I'm not going to let the guy get away from me, but I am going to wait until the opportunity is right to try to get back around this guy cleanly, because it is very evident that he does not want to be passed. Even here, you know, he's defending very aggressively and just really being silly the way he's driving. He yet again misses that apex because he's too busy trying to aggressively defend me than to pay attention to what he's actually doing. So for now, I'm going to just stick on his bumper and wait for him to make a big mistake. So here, I'm going to try to show him that I'm going to dive bomb him, just to see if I can get him off kilter a little bit. I'm just making sure I stay in his mirror, and it worked beautifully. As you can see, blew that corner super wide, but unfortunately, I didn't have quite enough of a run to get around him. So now I'm conscious of this guy who's tried to spin me, as well as multiple other people already this race, is now back on my back bumper. So again, I did, you know, kind of blow that one a little wide, which let him get back around me. But then he went wide in the next turn, so it kind of evened out. So here I am back behind this guy again. And, you know, this was just an entire race-long battle between this guy and myself. Now, notice the car in my driver's side mirror there. So this guy has now caught up to us because of, you know, this guy trying to defend and battle me so hard. We've really just lost a lot of pace. Not only are we way farther behind the cars in front of us, but now we've got cars catching up behind us. So this is becoming somewhat of an issue. And at this point, I'm going to have to try to figure out how to get around this guy. But as we're coming through this section, again, we're running a little slow. So I'm going to try to make my move here, but as you can see, again, he just pushes me off track. And this is where things get interesting.
Car on your left. Stay on the right. Clear.
So remember this guy I told you to watch? He is now going to absolutely dive bomb me right through this apex. And the question I ask is, where are you headed? So he just cuts straight through between me and the other driver in front, which was just a horrific place to try to pass. Just not a smart dive bomb. We made contact. Both of us took a 4-point incident there. And obviously it now has me several cars back behind these guys. But now that we have two drivers that are just making really poor decisions behind the wheel, I'm pretty confident that they will end up taking each other out. So at this point, I'm just, trying to stay as close as I can without being too close, so that I can take advantage of a mistake that these guys make. So as you'll see, we're getting ready to come into a section where that just is going to happen. So both the cars there, again, missed that apex. It seems to be a spot that both of these guys really struggle with. So I'm able to get back on top of them, and now I'm in striking distance for whenever one of those two makes a mistake. So we are, making our way back down the track here in this high-speed straight, but it is a very low-speed corner that I absolutely blew the braking zone on. So I did end up locking up the tires there, unfortunately, and it kind of pushed through the turn with a lot of understeer. So, did create a little bit bigger of a gap, but, par for the course. I'm not too worried about catching back up to these guys. So, I'm going to really focus up and try to make up some of the ground that I just lost by blowing that corner. And pretty rapidly do get that room back. This next section, turns 1 through 3, like I said previously, these two drivers really seem to struggle. So I'm planning ahead, and this is where I'm hoping to make my move. So obviously they have a relatively substantial amount of distance on me through the straight. But, as you can see there, both of them blow that braking zone and swing wide, which, is going to help me track that distance back down. And then the next set of turns is another area where both of these drivers do seem to struggle. So I'm hoping, thinking ahead, these guys are probably going to swing wide, which will give me an opportunity to dart up the inside of this turn. And catch them back up, which, as you see, I am now back on Mr. Black's bumper. Do get a little bit of oversteer there, but nothing that we couldn't sort out pretty rapidly. So we are coming into the last couple of laps here, so I know I've really got to get something done. So again, I'm going to show a little bit of pressure on this guy. And just perfectly timed, he dove inside to try to defend, threw off his line, which again is going to help me, just in this driver's head. So, again here he went wide, so I'm seeing that me showing myself in his mirrors is really making him uncomfortable. So I'm just going to keep doing it and see if I can force a mistake. Here we get a yellow flag, which, is always a little nerve-wracking because you don't know what's going to be around the corner. Fortunately, this guy seems like he is a well-intelligent racer. He stayed out of the way, let us get around, but it did throw these two guys off. And here we are coming into the last lap. So I know at this point we're into crunch time, so I've got to make something happen if I'm going to get back around these two guys. So currently sitting P7, which is also where I qualified and started the race. So I haven't lost any positions, but again here, Mr. Black was that corner super wide, so I'm able to easily get around him, and now I just have Mr. Aggressive here to deal with. So I'm going to do my best to try to make something work through this next section, because I know that's where he typically struggles. But of course, in my iRacing luck, he actually takes this corner properly this time. He did still miss the apex slightly, but he didn't miss it near as wide as he normally does. So I was not able to get around him, but there, as you see, the car got a little unsettled, and I did have to check up with throttle and steering. So at this point, starting to feel the effects of the race on these tires. You know, I think I've really pushed them to the edge a little too long. But, you know, I'm having to ease up a little bit on throttle and braking inputs after that little skid previously, which did create some distance here. And unfortunately, we're going to have a little incident coming up here in a few turns that is unfortunate. But, you know, it was a little frustrating the way this guy handles it. You will see here in just a few turns. But we are coming into the end of the race. At this point in my head, I'm thinking, you know, I'm not going to get around this guy in these last couple of turns. I'm just going to have to settle for position 6. But there you see, I again got a little out of balance there and was trying to save the car and keep from the spin. But unfortunately, I blew through the apex and did ram into him, which was my fault. I did check up on the throttle to make sure I didn't steal his position, because that was entirely my fault and not his. But look at the way he handles himself afterwards. I was pretty frustrated by this. It was entirely an accident. I held off throttle to make sure he stayed in front of me. But afterwards, he continued to smack into me, and I got pretty frustrated with that. Thanks for tuning in, and follow for more iRacing content.